Hi, welcome to DNB Ophthalmology OSCE Station 1. Let's go through each question one by one and understand the concept. In this OSCE station, you are shown a picture of visual acuity chart and ask the follow-up question for this. First question is that name the chart shown in the picture, name the optotype, and what are the scoring system, and mention the two advantage over Snellen chart. And next is mention two method of visual acuity testing in infant. Hi. Now moving to the first question. Name the chart shown in this picture. So answer is LogMAR chart or ETDRS chart. ETDRS is used in the diabetic trials. So now that was become gold standard. So now they are using as a in this visual acuity as a gold standard. So how we differentiate LogMAR chart versus Snellen chart? In if you see this LogMAR chart, it contains 5 letters per row versus the Snellen chart contain unequal distribution. Means first line will contain one letter, other line will contain two letter, next line will contain three, like this. There is progression in the Snellen chart, whereas the LogMAR chart will have equal number of letters and there is logarithmical progression, whereas in Snellen chart it is geometrical progression. And if you see the last line in the Snellen chart, there is the crowding phenomena. So LogMAR have 5 letters per line and there is equal spacing. And also we need to know the equivalent, how much is the value of Snell versus LogMAR. If the visual acuity is 660, then LogMAR value is 1. If the visual acuity is 66, then logarithmic value is 0. Next question is, name the optotype used in the LogMAR chart and what is the score value of each letter. So optotype name is slogan letter set. It is the standardized set in which the vertical and the horizontal dimension of each letter is equal. So that's why it is used in this LogMAR chart. Second question is, what is the score value of each letter? If one letter is correct out of one row, then score is 0.02 LogMAR units. And if whole one row is correct, that means 5 letters are correct, then the score system is 0.1. That is 0.02 into 5, that is 0.1 LogMAR units. The third question is, mention the two advantage given over this chart versus Snellen chart. Okay, the first advantage is, if you see there are equal number of letters per line and there is logarithmical progression of the letter. If you go from up down to up, this avoid crowding phenomena, and this test is precise and repeatably across all world. So it is therefore used in all statistical analysis and research papers. If you see any research paper, they have mentioned that how much logarithm value change is there from initial visual acuity to final. So it is used in all the standard research paper test. Last question is, mention the two visual acuity test used in infant. So in infant that is less than 1 year, there are two types of test. First is subjective test and other is objective test. Subjective test in which we show some child two tiles. First is blank, other is some pattern. So the child used to prefer to the pattern slide. So this is preferential looking pattern. So it can be of two types. One is Teller equity chart or other is Cardiff equity cards. In tellers, if we have grating like pattern, it is known as teller. If it is having some shapes, then it is Cardiff. Other test is oak and drum. It is known as optokinetic nystagmus drum, in which this drum is rotated and the child focus on that every stripes as the drum rotates. So this is we can see a real world pattern of eye movement. Other objective test for visual acuity is VEP test, in which we show some patterns and the child see this pattern. The pattern will go along the nerves to the brain, and from brain there is we place some electrode that goes direct to the machine and it shows some graph. Okay, so this is when we give some visual stimulus, the brain records that visual stimulus and response given to it on the chart paper. So this measure visual acuity function with along the pathway. And mention the two advantages: equal number of letter per line, and there is logarithmical progression, and this test is repeatable and precise. Other method used in infant are: first is preferential looking test, other objective method is visual evoked potential.